Listen to me. Somebody, somewhere is crying out for a breakthrough. Somebody is waking up every morning feeling stuck, feeling lost, feeling like life is passing them by. But I came here today to tell you the difference between where you are and where you're supposed to be is found in the sacrifice you refuse to make. You say you want success, but what are you willing to give up for it? You say you want change, but how deep is your commitment? Because let me tell you something, the greatest things in life don't come to those who wait. They come to those who work, who fight, who rise up before the sun and chase their destiny with everything they've got. See, 4 a.m. is not just a time, it's a test. It's the dividing line between the ones who talk about success and the ones who go out and make it happen. The world is quiet at 4 a.m. The distractions are gone. The excuses are gone. It's just you and your purpose. That's why the greatest minds, the greatest leaders, the most powerful men and women who ever walked this earth, they didn't wait until the world woke up to get started. They got up in the dark. They moved when nobody else was moving. And that's why they stand where they stand today. Now let me take you deeper, because this isn't just about success, it's about spiritual discipline. It's about aligning yourself with something greater than yourself. You think it's just about setting an alarm? No. It's about setting your life on fire for something bigger than you. Let me give you 5 powerful truths about why rising at 4 a.m. will change your life. 1, before the world wakes up, before the noise, before the distractions, before the rush of life sweeps you away, there is a moment, a sacred moment, when heaven leans in close. It's the hour when God is speaking, but the question is, are you listening? Too many people spend their days searching for answers, asking God for direction, longing for wisdom, yet they never position themselves to hear. They wake up in a rush, scrambling to get through the day, caught up in the demands of life. And by the time they finally slow down, exhaustion takes over. They say they want change, they say they want clarity, but their actions tell a different story. Because if you truly want to hear from God, you have to make room for Him. If you truly want divine wisdom, you have to step away from the noise and enter the silence where His voice is loudest. At 4 a.m., the world is asleep, the phone isn't ringing, the notifications aren't flooding in, the pressures of the day haven't yet arrived. It's just you and God standing in the stillness of a brand new day, with no distractions, no interruptions, just a divine invitation to go deeper. This is the hour when destinies are shaped, when visions are birthed, when purpose is revealed, because it's the hour when the flesh is weak, but the spirit is open. The Bible shows us that those who walked closely with God sought Him in the early hours. Jesus Himself, the Son of God, would rise before the sun, withdraw to a solitary place and pray. He didn't wait until the demands of the day pulled Him in every direction. He didn't squeeze God into His schedule when it was convenient. No, He put His relationship with the Father first. And if the Savior of the world saw the value in early morning communion with God, how much more do we need it? When you wake up at 4 a.m. to seek God, you're telling Him, Lord, you are my priority. Before I touch my phone, before I check my schedule, before I step into the demands of the day, I will sit at your feet. That kind of discipline does something to your spirit. It reorders your life, it shifts your perspective, it gives you a peace that the world cannot steal, a wisdom that confusion cannot shake, a strength that circumstances cannot break. Imagine a man weary and burdened by life. He's struggling with decisions, overwhelmed with responsibilities, feeling lost in the noise of it all. One day, he decides to do something different. Instead of rolling out of bed at the last minute, rushing into the chaos of the day, he sets his alarm for 4 a.m. He wakes up when the world is still, when the sky is dark, when everything around him is quiet, and in that moment, something happens. He prays, not out of routine, but out of desperation. He listens, not with his ears, but with his heart. And as he sits in that sacred silence, he begins to hear answers, direction, a whisper in his soul that he never noticed before. Days turn into weeks, and weeks into months, and something shifts in him. His decisions are clearer, his mind is sharper, his spirit is stronger. The same problems are still there, the same pressures still exist, but now he is different. He carries a peace that others can't understand. He walks with a confidence that isn't shaken by circumstances, and all because he made the decision to meet God before the world had a chance to distract him. This is why waking up at 4 a.m. is more than just a habit. It's an act of faith. It's saying, God, I will seek you first, and I trust that everything else will fall into place. Because the ones who rise before the world, the ones who seek wisdom in the secret hours, are the ones who walk in power when the sun comes up. 2, when the alarm goes off at 4 a.m., something deep inside of you resists. Your body feels heavy, your mind tells you to stay in bed. Every part of you craves the comfort of sleep. This is the battle between the flesh and the spirit. The flesh says, you're tired, you need more rest, you can start tomorrow. But the spirit knows the truth. Tomorrow never comes for those who keep waiting. If you keep letting your feelings dictate your actions, you will stay stuck in the same cycle of mediocrity. Discipline is not about how you feel in the moment. It's about what you know will produce results in the future. Your feelings will always try to talk you out of doing the hard things, but discipline will force you to push through even when your body resists. And here's the truth. Every great person you admire, every leader, every champion, every individual who has ever accomplished something meaningful had to win this battle. They didn't wake up every day feeling motivated. They didn't feel like pushing themselves beyond their comfort zone, but they did it anyway. And that's why they stand where they stand today. The Bible reminds us the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. Your spirit wants to grow. Your spirit wants to be strong. Your spirit wants to walk in power, but the flesh will always fight against it. And if you let the flesh win, you will always be controlled by what's easy, not what's right. At 4 a.m., you are training yourself to master your own body. You are teaching yourself that your emotions don't control you. You control them. You are building a habit that strengthens your will, sharpens your focus, and turns discipline into a way of life. And once you learn to win the battle in the morning, you will start winning the battles in every other area of your life. Imagine an athlete training for the Olympics. He has a dream to be the best, but that dream is tested every morning when his alarm clock rings. His body is sore, his muscles ache. His mind tells him one day off won't hurt, but he knows better. He knows that the difference between winning and losing is found in the moments when no one is watching. So he gets up, he fights through the exhaustion, he trains while others are sleeping. And on the day of the competition, when the world sees him standing on that podium, they think it happened overnight. They don't realize that his victory was already won in the secret hours when he chose discipline over comfort. This is how life works. The battle is not won when the spotlight is on you. It's won in the moments when you are alone, when no one is cheering, when no one is clapping, when it's just you versus your and the people who learn to push through in those moments, they are the ones who rise above the rest. When you wake up at 4 a.m., you are not just changing your morning routine. You are transforming the way you approach life. You are telling your flesh, you don't control me. I am stronger than my feelings. I will be ruled by what's easy. I will be ruled by what's necessary. And when you live like this, you develop a power inside of you that nothing in this world can. Most people never reach their full potential, not because they lack talent, not because they lack opportunity, but because they lack discipline. They let their feelings dictate their actions. They let the comfort of today steal the greatness of tomorrow. But when you make the decision to wake up at 4 a.m., when you commit to winning the battle against your own flesh, you step into a level of life that few people will ever experience. Because true strength is not found in comfort. True strength is found in sacrifice. 3, there is something powerful about taking control of the first moments of your day. The way you start determines how you finish. If you wake up late, rushing, stumbling, playing catch-up from the moment your feet hit the floor, your entire day follows that same chaotic rhythm. But when you wake up at 4 a.m., when you take charge of your morning, you are setting the tone for victory. The first hours of the day are where champions are made. It is in these quiet, undisturbed moments that your mind is at its sharpest, your focus is at its highest, and your spirit is most open. The world hasn't had a chance to throw its distractions at you. The problems of the day haven't had a chance to pull you in different directions. It is just you standing at the threshold of a brand new day with a choice. Will you take control, or will you let life control you? Most people let life happen to them. They wake up just in time to get by. They react to the day instead of setting the direction. They rush into the storm instead of preparing their spirit before stepping out into the world. And then they wonder why life feels overwhelming. But the ones who take charge of their mornings, the ones who wake up before the world does, they walk into the day with clarity, with confidence, with power. This is why some of the most successful people on earth, leaders, innovators, game changers, rise before the sun. They understand that the early hours are where battles are won. They don't wait until the day controls them. They take control of the day before it even begins. And when you establish this kind of discipline, it affects every part of your life. When you wake up at 4 a.m., you are not just gaining extra time, you are gaining an advantage. You are stepping into the day prepared, mentally strong, spiritually aligned. You are ahead of the world while everyone else is still sleeping. And when you live like this consistently, it changes how you operate. You stop reacting to life and start leading it. You stop feeling overwhelmed and start feeling empowered. You move with purpose because you are no longer letting the world dictate your direction. You are setting the course yourself. Imagine 2 men going into battle. One wakes up early, sharpens his sword, strengthens his body, prepares his mind. The other sleeps in, wakes up just in time to throw on his armor, and rushes into the fight unprepared. Which one do you think stands a better chance? Life is a battle, and every day you step onto the battlefield. The question is, will you be ready? The ones who rise early, the ones who seek wisdom before distractions, the ones who prepare themselves in the quiet moments before the world awakens. They are the ones who walk through life with a different kind of power. They don't panic when challenges come because they have already prepared themselves for the fight. They don't stumble through the day because they have already set their course before it began. When you take control of your mornings, you take control of your life. You start your day with intention, with discipline, with strength. You build a foundation that cannot be shaken by the chaos of the world. And when you walk like this, when you live like this, there is nothing that can stand in your way. Because success, peace, power, and victory, they don't happen by accident. They happen when you make the decision to take control before the world even wakes up. 4, there is a deep and undeniable connection between waking up early and hearing the voice of God. In the quiet of the morning, before the world fills the air with noise, distractions, and demands, God speaks. But the problem is, too many people never hear him. Not because they are too busy, too rushed, too distracted to listen. Life moves fast. From the moment most people wake up, they are flooded with notifications, responsibilities, and worries. They jump straight into the chaos, filling their minds with everything except the one thing they truly need: divine direction. But when you wake up at 4 a.m., when you intentionally step into the stillness of the morning, you create space for God to speak. The Bible says, "Be still and know that I am God." But how can you be still if you're always rushing? How can you hear from God if you never slow down long enough to listen? The early morning hours are sacred because they are free from distractions. It's just you and God. No phone calls, no emails, no social media, no noise. Just you in the presence of the Almighty, seeking wisdom, seeking clarity, seeking strength for the day ahead. People wonder why they feel lost, why they lack direction, why they don't have peace. But the truth is, you cannot get divine guidance if you never make time to receive it. If you only talk to God in passing, if you only seek Him when life gets tough, if you only pray when you're in trouble, then you will always feel disconnected. But when you rise early, when you dedicate those first moments to seeking Him, you will find that He has been waiting for you all along. Look at Jesus. Before He performed miracles, before He healed the sick, He taught the crowds, He withdrew to quiet places to pray, He woke up early to be with the Father. If the Son of God needed quiet time with the Father before stepping into His purpose, how much more do we? How much more do we need to be still, to listen, to receive instruction before we walk out into a world full of distractions? When you wake up at 4 a.m., you are not just gaining extra time, you are gaining access to wisdom, to peace, to revelation that only comes in the quiet place. You are setting the foundation for your entire day, aligning yourself with God's plan instead of wandering through life aimlessly. Imagine two people facing the same day. One wakes up late, rushes out the door and faces every challenge with stress, anxiety, and confusion. The other wakes up early, spends time in prayer, and steps into the day with clarity, strength, and divine confidence. Who do you think will walk in victory? Because here's the truth. Life will throw storms your way. Unexpected problems will come. Challenges will arise. But when you start your day in the presence of God, you are not shaken. You are not caught off guard. You are prepared because you have already received your instructions from the one who holds the world in His hands. And when you walk in divine alignment, when you hear from God before the world gets a chance to distract you, nothing can stop you. No obstacle, no setback, no attack of the enemy can shake a person who has already stood in the presence of God before stepping into the battlefield of life. Because victory is not found in the rush of the day. Victory is found in the stillness of the morning, in the presence of the one who sees the end from the beginning. 5, when you wake up at 4 a.m., you are not just waking up early, you are breaking free from the cycle of mediocrity that keeps so many people trapped in an ordinary life. The difference between those who succeed and those who remain stuck is not luck, talent, or background. It is discipline. It is the willingness to do what others won't. It is the decision to rise while the world sleeps, to prepare while others waste time, to move forward while others remain stagnant. Mediocrity is a prison. It keeps people in a cycle of just getting by, of settling for less, of making excuses instead of making progress. And the reason so many people stay in this cycle is because they refuse to change their habits. They want success, but they don't want to sacrifice comfort. They want progress, but they don't want to put in the extra effort. But you cannot expect greatness while living with average habits. You cannot expect to rise while still clinging to the same routines that have kept you bound. This is why waking up at 4 a.m. is so powerful. It is not just about the time, it is about the discipline it creates, the mindset it builds, the transformation it brings. When you wake up at 4 a.m., you are proving to yourself that you are in control of your life. You are setting a standard that says, I will not live like everyone else. I will not settle. I will push myself to higher levels. And once you make that decision, everything changes. People who live extraordinary lives don't do what is easy. They do what is necessary. They get up early to train, to study, to plan, to build. They don't wait for opportunities to come to them. They create opportunities. And when you develop this kind of discipline, it spills over into every part of your life. You start making better decisions. You start valuing your time more. You start seeing results in ways you never had before. Because the truth is, your habits shape your destiny. What you do daily determines where you will end up in life. If you want more, you have to do more. If you want to rise, you have to sacrifice. If you want to break free from mediocrity, you have to break free from the habits that keep you average. Imagine two runners preparing for a race. One wakes up early every morning, trains hard, pushes past exhaustion, and disciplines himself even when no one is watching. The other wakes up late, skips training when he doesn't feel like it, and does the bare minimum. When the day of the race comes, who do you think will win? Success is not about what you do occasionally. It's about what you do consistently. The ones who win are the ones who prepared long before the battle began. When you rise at 4 a.m., you are not just getting a head start on the day. You are separating yourself from the crowd. You are making the decision to live intentionally, to take control, to build the kind of discipline that leads to greatness. And over time, as this habit strengthens, you will find yourself achieving things you once thought were impossible. Because success is not about luck. It is about preparation. It is about sacrifice. It is about choosing discipline over comfort, progress over excuses, action over waiting. And when you choose this path, when you commit to it fully, there is no limit to what you can achieve. Now, the question is, what will you do? Will you stay where you are? Will you keep pressing snooze on your life? Or will you rise up, take hold of your destiny, and walk in the power that God has already placed inside of you? The choice is yours.